In the bleak midwinter. I would say this is pretty much where we are on
That's
this
for sure.
January day. You look outside at your yard and you think, all right, I'll get out there. I mean, the leaves have been cleaned up. The yard's in pretty good shape. But, boy, it'd be nice to see some color out there, especially some sunshine. That's why we've invited back to the airways one of our favorite guests, Doug Oster. Doug is editor of Gardening with Doug, DougOster.com. Doug, what do you do in the bleakness of January? Welcome back.
Did you just repeat the word bleak?
I believe you did, Doug.
I want you to go out tomorrow morning. I want you to get up early, and I want you to open the door and walk out and listen to the birds because they have started to sing as they do every time this year. And that will start wiping away your bleakness. Come on.
All right.
It could be a lot worse. So listen, I grew up near Cleveland, and winter was winter. This isn't bleak. This is just gray. Okay, it's bleak.
Yeah, it's gray bleak. It really is.
I like that attitude. Like Doug Oster comes in here swinging. I like it.
Yeah, right. And I do appreciate it because you do hear the birds singing in the morning, do you not, Doug?
Oh, yeah. And, pretty soon now they'll start to sing a little bit. And every day as the days get longer, we'll hear more and more of them. Mm-hmm. They know it's coming. Yeah, we've got a lot of winter in front of us, but that doesn't mean you can't do something gardening-wise. One of the things I've been talking about is this growing microgreens. That sounds like some kind of scientific project, but it's not.
Yeah.
All it is taking like a packet of radish seeds, putting them in some planting mix, getting them to sprout, and that's a microgreen. And anybody can do that, and it could be radishes, it could be beans, sunflowers, and you could use just your old seeds that are sitting around if you were a gardener and had extra seeds sitting around, or just go to the nursery or garden center and buy a few packs. You know, they're probably giving them away almost right now before the new ones come in, and it's an easy way to have something to work on, a little project like that. And those microgreens, which are just the sprouts, are real tasty and highly nutritious, and they give you a fresh flavor. And you can say, hey, I'm gardening. You know, I throw them in a salad. We eat them raw. It's super easy. It's 2 or 3 days. You've got radish sprouts or whatever you might be planting in there coming up. And no special lights. You just put them on the windowsill.
That's a great idea.
So back up. This is like borderline super exciting to me at this point. So if I know I'm involved in the bleak. So you're saying I can just put radish seeds, bean seeds, whatever it is, in planting mix, and I'm just going to put it on my windowsill somewhere? And
yeah. Just if you had even just a little pot with drainage, you put something in there that you would normally grow plants in. I use something called a planting mix. It's just a bag of stuff you'd start seeds in, or potting mix, or whatever it is. And yeah, when they sprout, they're going to get 2 or 3 inches tall. That is your microgreen. The way it works is the seed has everything the plant needs to get it up and get it going. Then when it starts to put roots in, it's going to feed on what's there. And when you're only going like a week or two growing these things, they're going to get tall and leggy. We call it leggy, which is like spindly because they don't have enough light, but there's enough light on the windowsill just to keep them going. And then you just kind of trim them off with scissors. And I do like 2. I've got a pot going now that's up and has the microgreens in it, and the pot next to it has some seeds in it. When I harvest the one, the other one comes up. We go back and forth. It's fun.
Very nice.
And tasty.
Really? And you do radishes and beans? Are those the only 2, or?
Oh, no. Could be herbs like basil is a fun one. Sunflowers are great, believe it or not. You think of people eating sunflower seeds. These little sprouts are great. Beans, lettuce, cole crops like broccoli or cabbage, they're really nutritious. That's a good way to get your kale, you guys. We all love our kale, right?
No.
I do like it.
I do too, but I often joke that it's only edible with bacon. But those little microgreens are awesome, and like I said, anybody can do it. You don't have to have that proverbial green thumb. And again, it's just a wonderful project for the winter, and you do get that fresh flavor that you can't get anywhere else. When you snip it on the windowsill and throw it into your salad or wherever you use it, on a sandwich, whatever it might be, you're just going to be in heaven. And I'm telling you what, radishes, those are the things I tell people to start with because they're so easy. They'll sprout under any conditions, and they are great on, make a nice sandwich and you throw those greens on there, and the flavor of that whole radish microgreen, it tastes like a radish. It just doesn't have the same zip or heat that the root would have.
Very nice. We're speaking with Doug Oster about trying to escape the bleak midwinter. He's enthusiastic about it and trying to convince Kath and I as well. Okay, Doug, for Christmas a few years ago, somebody gave me a really nice bag of paper whites. And I love these things. I just put them in a pot, around some rocks and, occasionally would water them. And eventually they sprouted and they smelled and looked beautiful.
Not everybody will agree with you on that aroma. Really? I love the aroma of paper whites, but a lot of people can't stand it. For me, it smells like a spring daffodil. For other people, not so much. But things like paper whites and amaryllis are a bulb that we buy, anywhere. It could be a garden center, could be just, the box store, and you could put them in rocks, you could put them in anything. But the thing about them that's fun is you can plant them in that same stuff that we're planting the microgreens in, just in a planting mix. Again, everything in that bulb will make that thing flower no matter what. But then the fun part is you keep it growing and get it to bloom every other year. And it's pretty easy to do. You let them do their thing, they flower. Then the next thing is they have the leaves, the foliage. We just keep them on the windowsill all winter long. In the summer, we fertilize them. And then we let them go dormant, which means just no water, no fertilizer. They'll go brown. All that brown that was in that foliage, when it turns brown, the green goes into the bulb and feeds the bulb. And then in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, we give them water again, and up they come and they bloom again. It's fun.
Really?
Wow.
Very nice. We're
talking to Doug Oster, editor of Gardening with Doug at DougOster.com. Doug, what about thinking ahead to the spring? What about like ordering seeds for the spring or things like that? What's the procedure for that? And are a lot of people, as they were last season, like really thinking ahead to their garden more than, in years previous when they were going into the office?
It's another crazy year. Last year, we saw seed companies have to shut down, and I've already seen it again this year, this early.
Really?
We're one of the big companies that had to shut down for a week. Luckily, I had my order in, but I couldn't get everything I wanted, and that's the way it's going to be this year. And when I talked to them last year, not even talked, I just had a couple quick emails because they were so crazy, but they said that they were going last year into their reserves to fill last year's orders. That's why this year is it's going to be hard to get what you want. But don't worry, there's plenty of stuff there. And it does also, like in my case, gives me an opportunity to try something different. I love growing radishes. We talked about radishes as microgreens, but this is radishes out in the garden. And I couldn't get the one I wanted, which was one that you grow later in the season. But I found another one, and I started reading the description, from China. It tastes like a pear. And I'm like, that sounds cool. It'll give me an opportunity to do something different. But you'll get gardeners are getting catalogs in the mail. You can also do it online. And this is a good time to take a look at what you want and just kind of plan. Go out in the garden, look around, maybe draw a little map and say, I want carrots here, tomatoes here, whatever it might be, and order what you want now. Because I think if you're going to wait, it's going to be a problem. I've also talked to local nurseries here, and they are ordering a ton of seeds because they don't think they're going to be able to get that second or third order of seeds that they normally would if these sold. So it's another crazy year for gardening. You can understand why. That time outside, even just for an hour to stop thinking about everything that's going on,
sure.
That time in the garden is precious. That's why I'm saying go out in the morning and listen to the birds. Go out and look around. There's other things in the garden that have interest, and yeah, it's bleak, but there's these beautiful exfoliating bark on different trees. If you stop just for a minute, because we are in a crazy world right now. If you just stop for a minute and look at some of the beauty of nature, even at this time of the year, and just get your mind off it for a little bit, I think it helps.
I agree.
It certainly helps me.
Me too. Any time outside is well spent. I mean, even so much so, Doug, that, the nemesis, even though they are beautiful, I've made peace with the deer in the yard.
Okay, I haven't gone that far. All right.
Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, first you started with bleak. Now you love the deer. I don't think we can talk to him any longer today.
You know what, Doug? You and I are just going to have to take this from
I'm just trying to make it work, Doug.
You started with bleak. We start moving up. We're getting excited, and then you bring up that you're liking the deer. I will never go there. They're actually still somehow getting into my vegetable garden where I've moved things into the vegetable garden.
Oh no!
Like hydrangeas, because I couldn't get my hydrangeas to bloom because they love the buds. And I went into my vegetable garden the other day, and there were the buds all chewed up. And I'm like, how are they getting in? So, John, I'm not with you on that one. I'm sorry.
My apologies. Well, we can only agree on paper whites.
That's true.
Oh, gosh.
Doug, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us.
Always so good to talk to you, Doug.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, that's great. DougOster.com. I mean, you can see his passion. Look, there's beauty all around us. So go out there and enjoy yourself, whether the deer are there or not.